Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid South Wrestling Review Series for the 28th of April 1984. And April has been a good month, to say the very least. Terry Taylor addresses his recent actions as it relates to the Mid South Television title and being jumped by the Russians and all of the challenges there. Basically being taken out of that. Jim Cornette cuts an amazing promo about the Tag Team Championship and basically doing the equivalent of a Tag Team Championship Appreciation Day for the Midnight Express. He says that there are going to be multiple matches, I think 4 in total end up happening. There's 3 enhancement matches and then a match with the Midnight Express, all on the same program, so it's basically Midnight Express hour. Cornette says that many people are not in a situation to challenge his team, but that the ones that are going to be given an opportunity to do so here this week. And ultimately, it amounts to a pretty good deal. Cornette does a lot of announcing. Greg Kozlov and Jason Walker are your first team. And as can be imagined, the Midnight Express get extra heat from being on the television so much here. Bobby Eaton wearing blue shorts or trunks and takes a shot. Pretty well knocks the man, his adversary, almost out and goes directly at everybody here. Double Irish whip and a double back elbow by the tag team champions at the time. Hard shots by both Condrey and Eaton, and then we see the tag off. The backbreaker by Condrey tags off to Eaton again, and we can kind of continue to see things go in a positive direction there. Eaton comes in, top second rope elbow, and then the power slam from the second rope by Condrey, and the obvious win for the first of the 3 enhancement challenge matches. The next is Midnight Express against John King and Tony Torres. We see Bobby Eaton doing pretty regular Hindu squats, and then we see Condrey doing push-ups there. Several shots by Eaton, and he, takes the body slam, goes right at his opponent, and drops the elbow pretty aggressively there. We ultimately see a tag off and a couple of shots along the way, and then we see a gut wrench suplex by the drop of the knee by Condrey, and again it's the tag off just to get the attention. Ground and pound into the mat, very basic stuff by Eaton. Tags off, and Eaton with a hard shot into the midsection, and then Condrey comes in, does the same. Cornette kind of fakes a little bit of being ill at ease. Snapmare takeover by Eaton and a tag off all there, and kicks and punches by that adversary, and then we see their original finish, which is the top rope kind of elbow drop, 1, 2, 3, and a win. Even in enhancement matches, Midnight Express trying to show diversity, which is kind of cool if you think about it. Anyway, we ultimately see Midnight Express against Wrestling 1 and 2 here, which ultimately ends up being the Rock and Roll Express under masks, and they cheat their way, or at least that would be Cornette's perception, cheat their way to victory there, and obviously Cornette does some posing and all of that. The 2 Midnight Express members are willing to challenge just about anybody, and we see the attempted double bulldogs, but the champions go together. Drop kicks under the chin by the Midnight Express, or by the Rock and Roll Express, and they even drop kick Cornette off the apron for his trouble. He is lounging on the floor for quite a while. This is a relatively quick motion movement, and we see some dancing and prancing on the apron there. and obviously the removal of the masks by the Rock and Rolls, who finally do get their opportunity, and needless to say, the champions and Cornette are in shock. Yet again, we see another great match between these four men, and Eaton goes to work on the arm of Ricky Morton of Dennis Condrey. Condrey manages to do everything he can to get things going his way. Tag off to Eaton. Eaton comes in and does a series of deals with Robert Gibson. Gibson drop kicks him right in the jaw, sends him out of the corner, and then hits a hip toss and a head scissors for his trouble. Eaton getting bounced around all the way around. Big drop kick and a pullback by the benefit of Lane there, and we see the double shot into the midsection and some elbows, Irish whip, and ultimately a back elbow there. Tag off, and again, the Midnight Express certainly looks like $1,000,000. The inverted backbreaker or the actual regular backbreaker there. And ultimately, we see the Midnight Express cutting the ring off on Robert Gibson. This time, it looks like when and if there is a hot tag, it will be Ricky Morton, who is the executor of the hot tag, and ultimately, things kind of going that way. Roll up, and again, there, and shots along the way. Big suplex by Robert Gibson, and a big superplex gets the victory for the Rock and Roll Express. They are successful here. We move to Khrushchev and Magnum TA being the next match in alignment, and that's been there for a while. They lock up, and nice ride time, go behind time by Khrushchev. Khrushchev kind of rolls that out, and arm bars, and then we see a couple of shots. Drop of the knee right across the, I guess you'd say, bicep area, and ultimately that is a good way to go there. Attempted hard shots, and again, right under the chin. Meanwhile, Magnum, with a couple of drop kicks, actually hits a drop kick right under the chin, and ultimately hits him there. Gets sent to the outside by Khrushchev. Khrushchev comes out, follows him out, and tries to get a brawl going. Khrushchev does attempt to slow the match down quite a bit, and hits the guillotine across the top strand of rope, and belly to belly by Magnum. Magnum counting the fall for himself. The referee had been knocked down, but does make the final fall for Magnum TA to get the victory. Buddy Landel faces off against Stagger Lee here. Landel has been teaming with Butch Reed in the area for a while, although gets a singles match here. There is, some trepidation, obviously, on the part of the heels, as there is some question as to the identity, although limited question, as to the identity of the wonder that is Stagger Lee. Lee tries to nail, Landel tries to nail Lee and gets caught up by hurting his own hand in the process, so that's a little disconcerting for him. Atomic drop by Stagger Lee, and drives a knee right into the spine of his opponent. Clothesline by Lee, and Buddy Landel not having a very good go of it. Meanwhile, from behind, Butch Reed makes a come in on the Stagger Lee individual, and the mask has been ripped off, but the shirt over the head now. And obviously, Stagger Lee hits a second rope shoulder block, and they're trying to pick up the trying to pick up the dog, but instead he is painted yellow across the back, and the heels are there. Rock and Roll Express comes out to make a save there, but a little too late on Stagger Lee, obviously, which Lee under the mask is the Junkyard Dog. Hacksaw Duggan returns. Jerry Gray is his opponent, and ultimately that is a relatively simplistic match. Duggan, kind of regaining some value here after battling with Khrushchev. We see double axe handles, punches, and kicks by Duggan. Big body slam, uses the power along the way and does whatever he can do to get things going in a positive direction. Sends the man into the top turnbuckle and an Irish whip along the way. Big clothesline by Duggan. Duggan, ultimately manages to hit the, I guess you'd say, sliding tackle or the running tackle. 1, 2, 3 gets a victory. The Midnight Express call out the Mr. Wrestling 2 calls out the Rock and Roll Express. He's kind of annoyed at the whole things being used by their name before, and so that call out has happened. We see a highlight film series of Dr. Death Steve Williams, who does the Oklahoma Stampede around quite a bit and manages to light up some people, including King Kong Bundy and others, Arn Anderson and various others, basically getting ready for Dr. Death to become more of a force in the second half of the year. The announcing of the super date at the Superdome, there is a contest going on where one can win a date with the Rock and Roll Express. They must be female over the age of 18 and send in a postcard with, I think, a 25-word instructions as to why they want that. I believe that event is the middle of June, and ultimately that will close us for the month of April. But we will be back with more right after this.